Hello and welcome. In this specific video we're going to be talking about how to drive traffic to your website, whether it's your product, affiliate product, or any other product or service with YouTube video marketing. It's going to have an added twist in how to get ranked high the right way with social signals, which is where the search engines are heading right now. This is video number 1, the introduction to YouTube video traffic. And just a quick overview here, we're going to talk about mindset first, a quick videos overview of all the videos themselves, how it all works, and what you need. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start talking about mindset, because I want to make sure that you're in the right mindset before you implement this system. You got to think quality over quantity here. Don't think about, jumping on the bandwagon, uploading tons and tons of videos. It's better to upload one YouTube video than upload, let's say for example, 10 or 20. Upload that one video, do it right, do the proper keyword research before you act, and then of course, upload the video and follow everything that I show you exactly step by step. Like optimization of the video, search engine optimization, and everything like that. So I guarantee you that it will be worth your while to do one video versus 10 or 20 or 30. So quality over quantity. But obviously you need a plan and research first, and then we'll need to act. So part of the video course is going to be about planning. Video number 1 is introduction, this video. Video number 2 is going to be YouTube video settings, because I want to make sure that you have the best settings in hand so that when you render the video using the video editor, or you get somebody else to do it, they or you know exactly what the video settings will be for YouTube, so that when you upload that video to YouTube, it will be crystal quality video and good audio, because people unfortunately will judge your videos by whether they can hear it or they can understand it. It doesn't necessarily have to be super fancy, but it has to be good content. Video number 3, we're going to talk about keyword market research, simply because before you create your video, you want to have an idea of what keyword you want to rank on in Google. Which brings us to LSI keyword research. LSI is basically a system that Google and other search engines use. Simply, they take a look at your video, they look at your captions, they even transcribe it and figure out what kind of keywords you're speaking over, and then they compare it to their database, and then they try to figure out what your video is all about. Because if you think about the regular video that an amateur creates, they're not really going to think of all these keyword research or anything like that. They're just going to put together a video, and then Google will come along, take a look at their video, transcribe it themselves, or even look at your transcription to figure out exactly what your video is all about, so that they know exactly where to rank it. That's why optimization is key. Now, once we've done all the proper keyword research and video setting research, we can then render the video, edit the file, which is something that most people bypass, but editing the file on your computer, I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we'll upload the video to YouTube. Then we'll take all the stuff that we researched, we'll add it to the title, description, and tags, and then of course we'll get somebody to transcribe the audio, add transcript captions, then we'll point social backlinks, which are basically social signals, Facebook likes, people talking on Facebook about your video. Stuff like that is considered a social backlink. And then we'll talk about social YouTube likes and traffic to increase your popularity. All of this stuff is, stuff that Google will look at and think, okay, is this video popular? Who's talking about this video? The people that are talking about your video, are they popular? Stuff like that. So here's how it all works. Basically, we're going to research the main keyword. We're going to dig deeper and get the LSI keywords. We're going to render the video according to the video settings. We're going to upload and edit the settings on YouTube. we're going to optimize the video for search engines to get it ranked better on the search engine. And then we're going to increase that by using social signals. And I'll teach you step by step exactly what to do. Here's what you need. You need the ability to render the video. And there's so many video editors out there, Camtasia Studio, Sony Vegas. And if you don't have the ability to render the video, you can always send it to somebody else to outsource this process if you want to go that route. And then of course you're going to need to have a YouTube account, which is the same as a Google or Gmail account. And you'll need some money for investing into social backlinks and social signals. Now, I'm going to try to stick with the cheapest ways to generate social backlinks. That way it'll make your wallet a lot happier. And then your return on investment hopefully will be a lot better. So with that said, let's move on to video number 2 and talk about the YouTube video settings. In this specific video, I am going to point you the right direction to make sure that you know exactly what the recommended YouTube compression guidelines are, so that when you render your videos they upload to YouTube, then you'll get some crystal quality video and audio. So let's get started. Now, the last thing I want you to do is to get overwhelmed by the technical stuff. But let me just walk you through step by step. Basically what they recommend that you do is basically export your videos as MP4. This is pretty much the standard nowadays, and we've moved from AVI files to MP4 files. And MP4 files are very compatible with like smartphones, Windows, Mac computers, and a lot of other types of operating systems. So this is pretty much the standard nowadays. Then audio codec, usually 96 kHz or 48 kHz is good. Now I'm going to actually go through Camtasia and show you kind of a live example of applying this kind of stuff to Camtasia. So if you are using Camtasia, great. If you are using a different video editing software like Sony Vegas or anything like that, you will need to just follow this. But if you go to Google and you just type in YouTube Advanced Encoding Settings, you'll get this page. But just rule of thumb, MP4 file, usually 96 to 48 kHz. And this is pretty much standard with Vimeo and other big video sites. H.264 is the standard video codec, pretty much across the board. If you use Camtasia Studio 7 or 8, it is actually compatible. Frame rates, as you can see, for example, if the content is shot in 24 frames per second, then you should encode it and render it in 24 frames per second. So what they're saying is a lot of this has an impact on, for example, video like camera video, video recorder type stuff. If you're doing Camtasia, usually a pretty good rule of thumb is you can play around with it. You can do 24 frames per second, you do 30 frames per second. Usually 30 frames per second, usually as a rule of thumb, is typically good. Now, if you're using a high-tech camera and you've got 60 frames per second, then they're basically saying that you should cut it in half into 30 frames per second. Then we got bitrate. When you're rendering in Camtasia, you have two different ways to render. You can render as quality or you can render as bitrate. Now with bitrate, it tells you right here, like let's say for example, your videos are rendered as 1280 by 720, so 720p. They recommend the video bitrate to be 5000. And all of this stuff is going to make sense when I actually show you in application with Camtasia. And then you can apply that to any other video editing software that you want. But usually a rule of thumb in terms of resolution is 1280 by 720 is the industry standard. If you go 1280 by 720 and you want to decrease to 640 by 360, then that'll actually help, because a lot of people nowadays still have slower download speeds. They have DSL modems, or sometimes their internet is a lot slower. Now, some of us have really, really fast internet speeds and want to be able to see HD quality. So this is industry standard. This usually is if somebody wants to watch it on their TV. So that's why this is a resolution that's recommended. But YouTube uses 16 by 9 aspect ratio players. So that's why you kind of want a wide 1280 by 720. But I would just stick with the rule of thumb. 1280 by 720 is usually the best way to go. Otherwise, if you don't follow this, what will happen is your videos will have these black bars, on the top and the bottom, or the left and the right, and it will actually not look as good. So in application to Camtasia Studio, you can actually see examples here. If I go to Camtasia Studio, and if I go to Produce and Share, we can go to the custom production settings. Remember that the recommended type is MP4 files, and they recommend that here as well. So choose MP4. If you use Camtasia 7, then choose MP4. Click Next. So this right here is the controller for the Flash player. We don't really need that because we're dealing with YouTube. The size needs to be 1280 by 720. But keep in mind that if you're rendering by 1280 by 720, it needs to be rendered as 1280 by 720. If, however, let's say you render it and you record it as 800 by 600, you need to render it as 800 by 600. Otherwise, the quality will drop. Like, let's say, for example, that I recorded with 800 by 600. If I try to render a video with 1280 by 720, your video is going to look really, really blurry. You can't really go from small size to big size. You can go from a big size to a small size without losing quality. But just keep that in mind. Video settings, as you can see with Camtasia Studio 8, we can do frame rate 30. Bit rate, you got quality and you got bit rate. You need to choose bit rate. And remember, with 1280 by 720, if we go back over to here, 720p, they recommend the bit rate to be 5000. So in this case, we'll just move it over till we hit about 5000. Just keep in mind though, the greater you increase this, the bigger your file will be. But if you're uploading to YouTube, they accept pretty big files anyways. Audio settings, what I've found is with Camtasia, it doesn't really do it by hertz. So what I found in testing is anything beyond 80 and above, usually the quality of the video tends to be really, really good. So I like to stick with this, but feel free to play around with it yourself. And after that, you just click next, next, and finish, and then you basically just render that specific video. So that's in application to Camtasia Studio. It's obviously going to be different with different video editors. And if you ever run into problems, you can always find somebody either on Fiverr, on Odesk.com, or even Elance that will do it for you. Once you have the video settings correct, you can begin to render it and upload it to YouTube. But obviously, before you do that, make sure that you watch all the videos in this video course so that you get the right keywords, you get the right LSI keywords to optimize it for Google so that you can increase your search engine ranking. So with that said, let's move on to video number 3 and talk about the keyword market research so that we can ensure that we're using the right keywords that are getting good quality traffic. Hello and welcome to video number 3, keyword market research. In this specific video, I'm going to help you figure out what keywords you want to rank on in Google to make sure that it is getting good traffic. Because before you create your video, you want to have an idea of what you want to rank on. I mean, it's very, very easy to create a video and just be done with it. But if you really think through it and think about, what keywords you're trying to rank on, the LSI keywords, which I'll show you in the next video, and just get the right keywords. When you create your video, you can create it around those videos. Because guess what? This is the way that Google works. You upload your video to YouTube. YouTube will basically analyze your video. It will strip your audio, it will convert it into text, which is captions, and transcribe it themselves, and then they'll analyze your keywords that you talk about in your video. That's why a lot of times videos that are silent, that don't have words, may not rank as well. But if you want to optimize it to the fullest extent, then you want to make sure that you've done the proper keyword research and you've spoken those keywords in the beginning throughout the whole video, so that when YouTube analyzes your video, they know, okay, this video is actually about X topic. And then when Google comes along, it says, oh, this video is ranked high in YouTube, and it looks at it and it says, okay, it follows our algorithms. It's a really good video that talks about X topic. If that's the case, you'll get better rankings because Google will know exactly what your video is all about. So with that said, we're going to use a free keyword tool, and it's created by Google called Keyword Planner. So let's go ahead and go to Google and I'll show you how to use this tool. So if you go to google.com and as you can see here, type in Google Keyword Planner and click on the link at the top that says Google AdWords Keyword Planner, you'll need to go ahead and log in using your Google account. And once you log in, you'll see some choices here. It says, what would you like to do? Search for keyword and ad group ideas, enter or upload keywords to see how they perform, or multiply keyword lists. To start from the basics, we're going to go ahead and search for keyword. So click on that. And then of course at this point, as you can see here, you have this box and you can enter a main keyword right here. You can enter a landing page or a product category. Now in this case, we're just going to choose a main keyword phrase. So instead of picking a very specific keyword phrase, try to think of a main keyword phrase that relates to your product, whatever product that you're selling, whether it's an affiliate product or even a service that you are providing. So think of a general keyword that relates to all of that. So let's say, for example, that I am an expert in dog training, specifically with puppies. So I'm going to type in puppy training, and then I'm going to go ahead and select your product category. And the categories can relate to the puppy training. So I can relate it to beauty and personal care with maybe their health and things like that, the health here. So in this case, I'm going to choose all categories and get ideas. Now at this point, the Google Keyword Planner will tell me the ad group. It will give me the keywords that are part of that ad group. It will give me the monthly searches for the last 12 months. So we can see that it's getting about from the month of August 2012 all the way to January. It seemed to have spiked and seems to be leveling out at that point. Now, it also tells you the competition. The competition is basically how hard is it to actually get ranked on Google for a specific keyword term. Now keep in mind that there's a lot of traffic within the YouTube site itself. So if you can rank on high on YouTube, then you can still get traffic through YouTube. And then of course you can get traffic from Google as well. The average CPC is basically the average cost per click. So if you were using something like Google AdWords, if somebody clicked on your ad, it would charge about $1.09. So that's what the cost value is. But we're not really concerned about pay-per-click or Google AdWords right now. What we would want to try to do is rank in the organic results inside YouTube and Google. So if we click on here, you can see your plan, your daily estimates of how many clicks you could be getting and what it would cost to get that amount of clicks. Now, what we're doing is we're really using this as a measure of how profitable a certain keyword could be. So, for example, if we dig a little deeper and let's say we'll click on, let's see, crate training. Crate training is actually low, which is good. It's a low competition, but we know crate training is quite popular among trying to get the puppy to not pee in the house. So we're going to click on this here. And by clicking the ad group, you will be able to see the individual keyword phrases within the ad group. So we can see puppy training gets about 1,900 monthly searches. And typically you want something that gets at least 2,000 monthly searches. If you can do that, you can stick with that rule, and you find that keyword is profitable, then that's a good direction to go towards. Now, but let's say, for example, that you're in a niche that only gets about 300 monthly searches. And out of those monthly searches, you may get a few 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 maybe clicks per month. If that's the case, but within that niche is very, very profitable and the return on investment is high, then of course that rule of thumb, may not apply there. So you really have to look at all the different variables, not just the certain specific variables. So if we go down the line here, we got puppy crate training schedule, how to crate train a puppy, and as we can see, people are paying 96 cents per click, which is not bad, and it's getting about 8,100. And we can see that it is increasing, but it is kind of decreasing as well. Let's see if we can find, and you can sort it. You can also sort it by clicking these things at the top here. So I could click average CPC, and we see that the competition is low. Crate puppy training at night. We can see that it seems to spike, and it seems to be seasonal for some weird reason. Let's see here. If we go to here, and we can simply look through here, and this seems to be increasing and decreasing and so forth. And we can go back and take a look at other specific ad groups. And that's the beauty of the new keyword planner. It's not necessarily like the old keyword tool, but it actually groups the keywords in ad groups. So if you have a total ad group that is performing really, really, really well, you could basically use that data and just target those specific keywords. So we could do obedience training, because I can tell you right up front that a lot of dog owners, they might have certain dogs that might be really, really dominant and really, not really obeying the rules and things like that. So a lot of dog owners would like to socialize their dog, improve the obedience and things like that. So it's worth investing money into. So we can see it's about $7.63 per click, which is really, really high. That's really really high, but at the same time, the competition is high as well. So if you click on competition, we got medium to high, puppy training obedience. And one other thing that I like to look at is the keyword itself. So for example, German Shepherd obedience training is high. Yes, it gets 260 monthly searches, but if that niche is very, very profitable, that is worth taking a look at too. So what I like to do is I like to highlight these, right click and search Google for that keyword. So when I do this, I can see that there are ads up here. There aren't really ads on the right hand side, but really in terms of doing research, because I am trying to rank with a YouTube video, I want to take a close look to see whether or not there are any videos on the Google search results. Now, as we can see, there are 2 here. And let's just take a look at these and kind of get an idea of how competitive these videos possibly are. So I'm not really interested in the video itself. I am interested, okay, so we got 50,000. It's available 2008. German Shepherd obedience training. That's a plus that they have that keyword. If you see that, this is the whole keyword. So if you look through here and you find, for example, this site here has the exact same keyword. This site here has the exact same keyword. This one here does, but this one doesn't. This one doesn't. All of these don't, except for this one, and this one. So if this person here just did some social signals and backlinking, I bet they could beat this guy here. So we go back here, and if we're going to go back here, leash, I'm going to do clicker puppy training. So I did a search on clicker puppy training and had a clicker train that has 0 CPC. I kind of want a higher CPC, medium to low competition. Let's see here. So we can see that this is a very specialized area. Beagle puppy training. That seems to be very, very, very consistent. That's good. And that seems to be on the rise. Clicker puppy training. So let's take a look at Beagle puppy training. So if I look through here and the keyword is Beagle puppy training, training Beagle puppies. Training. It looks like everyone here doesn't really have an exact keyword match except for the one at the very top. And because the one at the very top has the exact match, Beagle puppy training, Google gives more weight to that because I'm searching for that exact keyword. So training Beagle puppies is actually a different keyword phrase, so that actually might work pretty well. If I take a look at this specific video really quick, we can see it has 72,000 views, 66 to 7. I could easily beat this video just by looking at it because the keyword that it's training Beagle puppies, Beagle training, puppy training, blah, blah, blah. But she's using a lot of, or he or she is using a lot of keywords that are LSI, or that relate to each other. So I could easily beat that specific video, and if I wanted to, I could create a series of 5 to 6 different videos and focus specifically on that keyword phrase, and I could easily beat that. And a lot of these people that have videos in the top 10 of Google really are not people who know how to rank. They just uploaded the video and assume it's going to rank. So that means you have a lot of leverage and more of an advantage just by knowing these strategies. Okay, so let's say, for example, that we're going to use that as an example. Beagle puppy training. Now, I want to keep notes, so I want to open up WordPad or Notepad and just keep some notes along the way. I'm going to say main keyword is going to be Beagle puppy training. So that's what I've decided. So I'm going to go out and make the video. Make sure that before you make the video, you get your LSI keywords. So we're not done yet. Not done yet. I wouldn't recommend you to make the video just yet. But we know at least now that the main keyword is going to be Beagle puppy training. So that's great. We have a starting point. And you could go off. You could go into detail. We could copy this, paste that in here and get more ideas and see what we get. Beagle puppy training. And I'm going to try something here. Keyword ideas. And if you click on keyword ideas, that actually gives you more detail of those other keywords that relate to Beagle puppy training. So we have here training a Beagle puppy, but that has a kind of a low CPC. So I'm going to average here 1 to puppy train Beagle dog training, $4.60, 40 average monthly searches. But knowing dog owners, they are willing to spend a lot on their dogs. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to put that here. Other keywords, other related keywords. So we got Beagle dog training. Let's do a quick run through here. Low puppy development. Beagle dog training. Dog psychology. So we could do, what about Beagle puppy development? I wonder if how that would work. So puppy behavior, puppy beagles. And one thing to note is that I would not recommend a keyword phrase that doesn't really emphasize a specific thing. So puppy beagles, you don't know if somebody's interested in puppy beagles in terms of potty training versus puppy beagles socialization. Now, puppy training in general, socialization, and stuff like that all relate to each other in the future, but your whole goal is to get somebody who is looking for something very, very, very specific, like how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. Because if you try to rank on how to stop puppies from biting you, they may be looking for a different certain breed of puppies. Now, that could be quite general, but I hope you understand what I'm saying is that the more specific, the better. The more quality type people you will be getting who have a specific need, have a specific problem that they want you to fulfill. So we got Beagle puppy training, Beagle dog training. And let's see. How to stop beagle puppies from biting you. So that would be a sufficient, awesome keyword phrase that you could rank on. So if I go to google.com and do a search for this, we see a lot of Yahoo Answers, and then we see 2 videos. How to stop your dog from biting. Now think about it. If you had a video that said how to stop beagle puppies from biting you, then Google's actually going to give you a lot more weight, because if, as you can see, none of these videos or even sites fit that exact keyword phrase. So Google will give you a lot more weight just by uploading it to YouTube. Now you can push it further up using social signals and of course using YouTube likes, YouTube views, and things like that. And getting it ranked on YouTube is a plus too, because you're going to get traffic from YouTube, plus you're going to get traffic from Google as well. So with that said, I hope you can use the Google Keyword Planner effectively. And just remember, as a recap, do a search. You can see all the ad groups here, but if you click here, you can also see the detailed keywords that relate to this specific keyword. And remember, average monthly searches doesn't always mean that you're going to get 200 people to your website or 880 people to your website. It's about a smaller number. And of course, low competition to medium competition tends to be the best. Doesn't necessarily mean that you can't rank on it if the competition is high. It just means that it's going to take longer and probably more social backlinks. And I like to go for a higher CPC, something at least beyond 50 cents or more. And there we go. In this specific video, we're going to be talking about LSI keyword research. Basically, we're going to be expanding on the main keyword that we found in video number 3, getting all these related keywords that we can use in our video. So let's go ahead and get started. So to get LSI keywords, we're going to be using Google AdWords again. There are a lot of free LSI keyword tools out there, but I will say that consistently the one that has been around and the one that is probably the best to go to is Google itself. So we're going to elaborate further using the Google AdWords Keyword Planner. And if we go to WordPad here and we take the main keyword that we want to use, and remember this main keyword is going to be in your title of your YouTube video. So we've already done the research. We've already figured out that we want to use this specific keyword in our video. And you'll also want to make sure that that keyword is somewhere in the beginning of your video. So we're going to go back to here. We're going to paste this here. And we're going to click on Get Ideas. So as you can see, we have a bunch of keywords. And there's about 800 keywords. But the question is, which ones should you use? Here's what I like to do. I like to rank it by competition and see which ones are low, but at the same time are getting some good traffic. So what I want to do here, instead of sifting through all 800 keywords, is by using the keyword filters box option here. So we're going to click on here. Let's say, for example, that we want the CPC to be at least, I'd say 30-40 cents. And then I want medium and low competition. And there's always never really a guarantee that you're going to get results, but let's just say that we want at least 50. And after that's done, we're just going to click enter and change that here. And we can see that it's narrowed down to about 189 keywords. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to narrow it further. Let's say, for example, I want at least 100 and see what happens. And we can see about 119. And what I'm trying to do is just increase the keyword filters and get closer and closer to my goal, but still get the certain amount of keywords that I need to put into my video. So I'm going to click it again. I'm going to increase it. I'm going to say I want a 50 cents CPC, and it's still 100, so that's good. So I'm going to increase that now again. I'm going to do $1 CPC. And now we're down to 42 keywords. Now it's still medium and low competition, which is really, really good. I'm going to increase this to, let's say, 200. So I'm basically taking baby steps to crawl and keep moving forward. Because you want the best keywords. You really, really do. You want the best keywords that you can get a hands on. So we've got 14 keywords here. That's great. And what we can do now is we can download these, download ideas. We can download them to an Excel spreadsheet. We can download here, and download is available. So we'll click on this link here. And we're going to go ahead and open this up. Now you have to open this up in Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And if we grab the keywords, which is this stuff here, so I'm going to highlight this column and copy it. I'm going to go back to WordPad and then simply paste it. So these are the keywords that I want to include in my video. So if my main keyword is how to stop beagle puppies from biting you, then I want to make sure that I include something like doggy commands, doggy bites, doggy chewing. You know, we all know that puppies love to play bite and they love to chew because their teeth are hurting. So we got puppy tips, separation anxiety, which could cause chewing and biting and things like that. Puppy kindergarten, we may not include that. And just go through here and just remove the ones that you don't want to include, and then just keep the ones that you do want to include. And when you make your video, in the beginning, you say something like, hey, and welcome. In this specific video, I'm going to teach you how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. First, you need to do this, blah, 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 and make sure that you include these specific keywords in the video. Because when it came time to transcribe those videos, well, guess what? These keywords will actually show up in the transcript. When Google comes and views your video, they will see, aha, it has this keyword, it has all these other keywords, it must be talking about how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. So at that point in time, it knows that your video is optimized for that keyword, and it'll give you more weight just by doing that. And that's not even including the social signals. So with the social signals, with the transcript captions and everything else that I'm going to show you in the future, this is really going to help you out and rank higher on YouTube and get more traffic from YouTube and Google.com. So there you have it. Those are your LSI and related keywords. From this point in time, I'd recommend that you go ahead and create a video. I'm not necessarily going to show you how to create a video specifically because this is about YouTube video marketing. But if you create your video, make sure that you include these and you should be good to go. Once you have the video and rendered and in file in hand, we're going to move on to the next video where we edit the video file itself, and then we also take it one step further and get it uploaded to YouTube, and then of course begin that whole process. In this specific video, we're going to talk about editing the file and uploading the video. So now that we have the LSI keywords and the main keyword in hand in our notes, what we're going to do now is further optimize the video file itself on our computer and get it onto YouTube. So let's go ahead and do that. So before we get it onto YouTube, what we want to do is locate the file itself. Now, if you followed the video settings, and we've got here 1280 by 720, it's an MP4 file. It follows the H.264 codec and all the other settings. So what we need to do now is locate our notes with the keywords. And here's what I want you to do. Find the main keyword. The main keyword in this case is how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. I'm going to copy this, and then I am going to rename this file to the keyword. So I'm going to right click, click rename, and then I'm going to paste. So we got how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. That's the main keyword. So we want the main keyword to be located in the file itself. So we want to further optimize the file itself. We're going to right click, click on properties, and then here we have security, details, and previous versions. You want to locate the details tab. What we want to do now is enter the same title, the keyword, the main keyword here. So how to stop them from biting you. You're going to want to have the subtitle, which will include one of these keywords down here. So we want to have some LSI keywords. Let's see here. Dog bites, puppy bites, new puppy. So we can, subtitle will be something like the description. We can say something like, tired of your new puppy, new beagle puppy biting you? Watch this video to learn easy to implement puppy tips. So as you can see, I included new puppy and puppy tips within my sentence itself. We're going to put some tags. I would recommend that you again put the main keyword here, put a comma, and then put all the other ones that you want. Great training. We'll do new puppy, puppy chewing, oops, and puppy behavior, and basically enter all the tags in there and just make it optimize. And then of course in comments you could put something like how to, just put the main keyword and some LSI keywords along with it. Then if you go through contributing artists, you can put your name, the year is 2013, and then we can say puppy, beagle, puppy training. And then of course the directors, I wouldn't overpopulate it with keywords, and I would avoid doing so, because Google will probably penalize you for keyword stuffing. So we just want to do the basics and click apply and click OK. And I'm going to do this again, right click properties, just to check to make sure that it was inserted. So as we can see, it has been inserted. The title needs to be changed though. So we need to do that. I'm going to right click at properties just to check to make sure. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. Now that we're done with that, we can upload the video to YouTube. So I'm going to go to YouTube. As you can see here, you need to have a Google account or Gmail or YouTube account, which is the same thing. You need to go ahead and log in and click on upload here, and then simply click here, or you can drag and drop the video files in here. So I'm going to click here. I am going to find that specific video, and then I'm going to upload that video. Now let's move on to the next video and talk about entering the title description tags and the other settings. Now that we have uploaded the video to YouTube, we need to edit these specific information and insert our LSI keywords into YouTube. So let's hop on over to YouTube and we'll complete this. So now that the video has been uploaded, we need to populate the YouTube title, description, and tags. Basically, we need to tell YouTube what our video is all about. Now, if you've pretty much followed me up to this point where we've got the main keyword and the LSI keywords, all we have to do is take what we have gathered and simply enter that into here. So if I go here, this is going to be the main keyword, and I'm going to enter that here. I'm going to say how to stop beagle puppies from biting you. And then I would include at least one of the LSI keywords inside here. I would say something like, let's see, I'll just say, let's see, how to stop, watch these puppy tips. So the first thing I would do is enter the main keyword in the beginning all the way to the far left. And then from that point, I would include an LSI keyword to the far right. Now, if your keyword is short, I would probably, let's say for example, it's puppy tips. I would put puppy tips over here, and then I put like a colon, and then I would say, watch these puppy tips. In the description itself, we want to put some of the LSI keywords inside it. So I'm going to go ahead and just plop these in here. And I don't recommend you just enter all these keywords in here. You'll see in a minute why I am doing this. Dog tricks, crate training, dog commands, dog bites, puppy chewing, puppy behavior. All right, let's say I want to use these 3 LSI keywords. I'm going to write a sentence that has all of these keywords inside them. That's why I say I don't recommend you just entering them in here. Otherwise, it's going to be looking like keyword stuffing or keyword spam. So I'm going to say something like, tired of, let's see, there are many causes of puppy biting. Watch this video to full of easy to use puppy tips today. So I basically split these up into 3 different kind of idea bits of sentences. So I'm going to say, tired of your puppies, tired of your puppy behavior. Has she or he been biting you? Let's see. Beagle puppy behavior. There are many cases, not causes, cases of puppy biting, which can include excitement or even excitement, play biting, aggression, or even puppy separation anxiety. Watch this video full of easy to use beagle puppy tips that you can apply right this minute. Now tags, on the other hand, we're gonna say puppy animal. We can say how to genre, stop puppy biting, puppy, beagle puppy, beagle puppy biting, and there we go. Now we need to specify the privacy settings. They have public, unlisted, or private. Public means that the video is public to everyone. We want that because we want Google and YouTube to find all of our videos. Unlisted just means that it will show to people that have that specific link. So in this case, we want to have public. And then of course we have the video thumbnails here, and they'll show you all the thumbnails here, and you can choose and pick one, or you can use your own custom thumbnail. Basically, the video thumbnail is what people see before they click on your video. And of course, if we go up the top here and click on advanced settings, we can allow comments. What I usually do is I allow comments that are approved. That way people aren't just putting random hate comments up. Users can vote on comments. Users can view ratings. Yes. Allow video responses. Yes. Approved. And you can choose the video location, the recording date, and we can also make video statistics widely public available. We're not going to do that. And you can allow betting if you want people to bed the videos, and notify subscribers and so forth. So after we're done, we click on save, and there we go. So that's all we have to do for now. And for now, YouTube will basically get it ranked. Google will come along and index it. Usually I've seen it index in a few days or even a few hours, depending on the situation. But what you want to do is from here on out, you're not totally done. We're going to further optimize it. In the next video, I'm going to basically show you where to go to get your video transcribed. Because the reason why we want to do this is, let me show you. If I go and edit the specific video, you'll have more details. You've got info and settings, which is basically what I showed you just now. We got enhancements, just makes the video pretty. We've got the ability for audio. Now, we're not really concerned about any of that. What we want are the captions. The captions allows us to insert the transcript that basically is a transcript of the words that we speak. And the reason why we want to do this is because we want to make it easier for Google and YouTube to figure out exactly what your video is all about. They are actually going to transcribe your video to figure out really what your video is going to be about. But if you can take it one step further and help them out by getting the captions and then getting somebody to transcribe it and inserting the captions, then it'll help them out figure exactly what your video is all about. So that's the next step, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about transcribing the audio's video. And of course, like I said earlier in the previous video, the reason why we want to do this is because we want to make it easier for YouTube to figure out what our video is all about. So I'm going to show you where to get great quality transcripts at a cheap rate without breaking your wallet. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. If you head on over to Fiverr.com, that is located at fiverr.com, and go to the search box and depending on how big your video is, let's say for example your video is 20 minutes. What I would do is I would simply go to the search box and type in transcribe 20 minutes. Then I would basically look through here and I would open up, I would transcribe 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And basically I'm opening all of these up in a new window, because after that we're going to take a look at their feedback and see whether or not they are good. Because you don't want to pay for something and it actually turn out bad. So 97% rating. Let's check to see why this person has 2 negative reviews. So he has a lot of really good reviews, but let's see, you cancel. Okay, so it's just all from one person. But you know, typically sometimes you'll run into customers who are just a pain in the butt. So what I'm interested in is recently, has the person done a good job? So recently this person has, as you can see, it looks like done a very good job. And as you can see, you have repeat customers that are coming back, which is a good sign. So for $5, you can have your video transcribed in about 4 days. Then we got somebody for 5 days here. Seems like they got 100% good ratings. This person is 3 days. So if you're on a time crunch, you see this person did a good job too. So what I'm trying to do is basically go through all of these and figure out, okay, which people are doing a good job. So this person has 2 in their queue. This person is 5 days, and this person is 3 days. So what I like is this guy has 100% rating. So let's see, 5 days. So if you're in a crunch time and you need it, let's say for example in 4 days, then this guy's out of the question. And then it's between this person and this lady. So 4 days and 3 days. So all I would do is basically I would click order now, and then I'll go through the whole checkout process. And then of course when you're ready, all you have to do is simply find the video file and upload the video file. And that's why I like to use Fiverr sometimes for certain tasks. But with Fiverr, it's all automated, so when the time comes, you're guaranteed to get the transcript within 3 days or 4 days. And then all you have to do is wait and just focus on other stuff while you're doing this. And then when it comes time to it being done, then of course, that's what we're going to do in the next video. I'm going to show you how to take the transcript that they give you, and from that point, just upload it to YouTube. All right, so let's move on to the next video. In this specific video, we're going to be taking the transcript that we have received and add it to the YouTube Captions feature to further optimize the YouTube video. So with that said, let me go ahead and show you how to do this. So at this point, what you want to do is go to the video manager, find your file, click on edit, and you're going to get this page here where you're going to be able to edit this specific video. Now up at the top, like I said earlier, if you click on captions, you're going to see the ability to add captions. Now YouTube itself will automatically try and transcribe your video, so that's why we already have an active track here. But we want to add our own track of customized transcripts, so that you obviously in this case want to make sure and double check that the transcriber did a good job where your video actually matches the words. Because if it doesn't and you try to keyword stuff it just to optimize the video, YouTube will know. They will compare your words with your script. So they know all these little sneaky tricks that people try to do. So don't get sneaky. Just follow the rules, be ethical, be genuine, and click on Add Captions. So at this point, you're going to see track language, so you'll want to choose your language. In this case, I am using English. This is video transcript. Type what's spoken in the video here, and then click Sync to synchronize it with the video. So assuming that you have checked the video to make sure that it is exactly the same thing as your transcript, what you can do now is simply paste the transcript in here. Now, what I like to do is break my sentences up. So that way, I'll make sure that Google is in sync with everything. Because I want to increase my accuracy as much as possible. Now, maybe this is not necessarily required, but I found it works for me. So all I have to do is click on sync. Of course, you can also upload a caption file here, but you have to have a certain caption file. So going back over here, that's why if you get a Word document, just simply copy it and paste it into here. And once you're done, click on sync. And what YouTube is going to do right now is basically compare your audio with your transcript to make sure that it is correct. Hopefully it's going to be correct, and if it does, then Google will figure out, hey, your transcript actually has keywords and it matches with your video and actually relates to the topic. And because it is relevant, because it contains keywords, LSI keywords, and so forth, it's going to increase your rank just by doing this. And we haven't really even hit the marketing side yet, which I'll talk about in the next video. So that's all you have to do for now. Now that we have optimized the video as much as possible, we've gotten up onto YouTube and optimized it as well. Now we can focus on the marketing part, which is basically creating social backlinks to it. And there are many different ways of going about doing this, but I'm going to show you the way that I do it so that you can pretty much use what I use and it works really well. So let's get started. Now, before I show you step by step what to do, I want to talk briefly about how I go about doing this. Basically, I grab the YouTube video link, which is the link that YouTube gives you. So for example, if you go to YouTube, this is the link that they give you. Now, going back over to here, basically what I look for is I use specific avenues and specific options of social backlinks, and I point them to the YouTube video link. Now, I don't want to slam the YouTube video link with too many social backlinks. Otherwise, when YouTube looks at it, they think, oh, that's just some other sneaky guy trying to create tons and tons of backlinks. And they're going to detect that. So you want to do it on a slow, consistent basis. I know you're excited about getting a lot of traffic and ranking high, but it's better to do it slowly but surely, so that point is YouTube sees you as, okay, this video is legit. So to do that, what I do is I basically point social backlinks, whether it's Twitter, retweets, whether it's, likes, YouTube likes, Facebook shares, Reddit, social bookmarking, backlinks, and things like that. So I do social bookmarking, I do social shares, and everything like that. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to get somebody else to generate basically some backlinks. Now, I don't do this all myself. I don't do it because it's just a super tedious process. It's such a tedious process that it's just easier to get somebody who has, has their system set up. They're getting good rankings themselves in their networks and things like that. So it's good to leverage their networks. So after I generate some social backlinks to the YouTube video itself, I don't point all the backlinks to the YouTube video itself, basically. What I do next is over the month, I'll get somebody else to do some SEO over the month for the YouTube video link. That way, it's on a consistent basis over the month or over the next few months. Because Google is going to want to see consistency. They're not going to want to see that you got 10,000 likes in a day. They want to see that it's consistent over the period of a week and a month and so forth. Now, then what I'll do is, for example, social batch number 1 will link to YouTube video. And then I do SEO over a month period to the YouTube video. Now here's what I do that's one step further, where I don't bombard that video link with tons and tons of backlinks. What I do next is I do the same thing I did earlier. I create social backlinks by doing Twitter retweets, social shares, Reddit social bookmarking type stuff, and I do it to the social backlinks batch number 1. And then I get somebody to do SEO over the month period to the social backlinks number 1. That way what happens here is Google will follow backlinks, and then they see, okay, whoa, cool, this social backlinks number 1, because normally when they're created they don't really have a lot of weight. But if you think about it, once you start pointing to these links actually have more leverage. And because these have more leverage now over the month or 2 months and so forth, your YouTube video now has better ranking. So as you can see, it's kind of like a pyramid or a chain link. The link over here now has more popularity, then the link over here now has more popularity as well. So basically it ends up looking like this: batch 1, actually batch 2, batch 1, and then YouTube video. And you can go further if you want. You could do batch 3 if you want. You could do batch 3, which links to batch 2, then links to batch 1, and then all of a sudden you have this YouTube video. Because if you think about it, naturally what happens? Naturally, if a video is viral, then, I mean, yeah, you might get some other people linking to it. But if you're doing it yourself, naturally what happens is somebody shares the video. Then their friends share the video. And then their friends point to them and share the video. That's what naturally happens, because you want to look as natural as possible to YouTube and Google. You don't want to just send 10,000 links to a YouTube video, or much less get 10,000 views or get 10,000 likes to a YouTube within a day, or much less within a week. Because if it's, and then what if it stops? Then Google thinks, oh, hold on a minute, this video got 10,000 views in a day and it stopped. This is probably just somebody trying to beat the system. So if you can look as natural as possible, that is going to be a plus. Now going back over to here, let's apply this. So what we need to do is basically copy this link, and then what I do is I head on to Fiverr.com. I absolutely love Fiverr.com. I use it. I use the services. I get people who are doing it on a consistent basis to do it because they know how to do it the best. So for example, one thing I like to do in terms of linking people directly to the YouTube video link in terms of social backlinks batch number 1 is by using Tribe Pro. Tribe Pro is basically a system, as you can see, that allows your message to be shared across unlimited social networks. And it's super duper powerful, because basically you can do it yourself, but as you can see, it does cost some money. So for the Plus and the Pro version is, as you can see, the first month's price is $39.99. And then of course it costs a fee after that. Now, that's the reason why I say Fiverr.com, because if you don't really have, money to invest in that, or like me, you just would rather get somebody else to do it for you that already has a huge network built in TriPro, I would go to Fiverr.com and simply find somebody, type in TriPro, make sure that there's no space in between it, do a search, and then click on rating. And by clicking on rating, you get the people that have the best feedback at the top. Now, what I tried to do is over the course of a week, I will basically go through these, and we'll open it up right here. And what I'm interested in is, because different people have different networks, they're going to have different accounts, which is a plus. You don't want to have somebody do all of your social backlinks, because Google's going to see, oh, it's just all from the same person, or all from the same links, or from the same accounts. So as you can see, this person delivers in 8 days, and they'll share it with 1,000 real people, which then those people will share it and share it again. So get 8 days. And what I found is most of these people don't really deliver until 8 days. So what I'll do is I'll buy all these, and I'll get this person to do it, and then the next day I'll submit this, the next day I'll submit this, maybe a week later I'll submit this, and so forth and so forth. Now, like I said earlier, you don't want to bombard with too many social backlinks. You want to do stuff like social bookmarking. So what I would do is, at this point, I would do social bookmarking. And then of course I click on rating, and then of course I would find people to do social bookmarks. Now, after about a week's time, I will come back and I will basically just buy one of these again. But instead of linking back to my YouTube video link, what I'll do here is I'll get some links, and I'll pick and choose the links. For example, the social bookmarking. When you do social bookmarking, usually they will provide you with the links. Now, some don't. So you'll need to contact the seller, make sure that you get the links. Some people won't get it to you, and I've actually run into that same problem. But if you get the links, then what you can do is just pick and choose those links, and then use those TriPro gigs to basically get these people to link to batch number 1. And then of course batch number 2, batch number 3, and stuff like that. Now, after I've done this, where I've linked batch number 2 to batch number 1, I will take a step further, and I'll do stuff like retweets, like Twitter retweets. And Twitter retweets are basically people who retweet your Twitter message, and it goes across multiple accounts. For example, as you can see, it says I will receive Twitter retweets 50 times. They'll do it 20 times and more. It says I will give you 1,000 Twitter retweets with 30 days drip feed. I like the drip feed services because drip feed means that over the course of a 30-day period, that way you're not having to look at it every single day. And that way it looks like it's consistent and natural. So going back over here, you can do retweets from batch 2 to batch number 1, even batch 1 to the YouTube video link. And the purpose of this is like you can mix and match. It really, from what I've done, it really doesn't really matter. Just you don't want to slam your YouTube video link. That's the point. Now, if you can find the drip feed services, that is a plus. One guy that I use specifically for SEO is SEO_alchemy. And if you click on, I will create SEO alchemy, 300 social bookmarks, and so forth. What I do in this case is I do SEO over a month period. And I actually use this particular guy to point to my YouTube video and to my social backlinks one. Now, as you can see here, he'll get you, wiki links, edu links, bookmarks. And the key here is you need a variety. You don't want just one. You want a variety of different types of links. And so this guy's good. I can definitely vouch for him. But that's really the point here. You can do that. But the one thing I don't really do is like Facebook likes. I don't really get thousands and thousands and thousands of Facebook likes. And there you go. That's pretty much what I do for this particular step. Now you can go further and get YouTube video likes, YouTube video views, Facebook likes, Google Plus likes, and other things like that. But there is a certain way of doing it, and I'll show you that in the next video. Now that I've shown you how to use social signals to increase your traffic rank and how you want to do it on a consistent basis versus get a bunch of links and stop, I'm going to show you how to increase the popularity of your YouTube video on YouTube itself. And the reason why you want to do that is if you can increase your rank on YouTube itself, Google will see that you're highly ranked in their site of YouTube, and therefore it will help your rank in Google as well. So let me go ahead and show you how to do this. So besides getting it ranked in Google, you want to make sure that you rank it higher in YouTube. What I like to do is I like to get YouTube likes, views, and favorites as much as possible, but I don't want to ever bombard it with anything like 10,000 views in one day. That is something that you want to avoid totally. So if you go to Fiverr.com and you type in YouTube likes, it says I will give you 100 YouTube likes and favorites, 201 YouTube likes, and 220 custom comments. Comments are good to have as well, as long as the comments are targeted comments. So what I would normally do is I would click on this link here, and just read what these people have to say. So 20 comments. Are they customized comments or are they just comments? So it doesn't really say, and what I'd recommend that you do is make sure that you look at the reviews. Like this person doesn't have a lot of reviews, which if you don't want to risk it, I wouldn't risk it, and I would just move on to the next person. So I'd click on rating to get people who have usually better feedback. So it says I will express blah blah blah, YouTube likes, YouTube videos. Like these people, I definitely say avoid these 55,000, even 10,000. Avoid those people because you don't want like 5,000 even in a day. That just looks bad. So let's see here, YouTube videos, YouTube comments, YouTube likes, and YouTube comments. So what I recommend you do is just find somebody who has good ratings. Okay, so I will give you 25 YouTube custom positive comments. Okay, that's good. I will send natural reviews, 5,100. And even these guys that say 5,100, I would ask them, I would say, hey, can you send me, like, do you have some sort of drip feed service where you can send me maybe a few a day, like 10 a day or 20, 30 a day. Even 50 a day is fine. But 5,000 during a day is just, you definitely want to avoid. Let's see here. So let's take a look at this person here. They got 420 positive reviews. That's good. That's really good. It says, I will give you customized comments. So what I recommend that you do is just get comments that actually have your LSI keywords in them. Like, oh, I really like this, blah, 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 and stuff like that. So do that, you know, find likes, find favorites, even get Google Plus likes. But like I said, a rule of thumb, don't go beyond 100 a day. And you want to do it at a consistent basis. Get the likes, get the YouTube videos and stuff like that. In addition to that, I go further, and if we go back over to here, what I do is I will actually not only get people to like the video, but I will ask people to give me the link where they liked it, like the page where they liked it. And I will do social backlinks to those specific shares. That way you're creating kind of a network that points back to that YouTube video. And I know it sounds a little bit complicated, but it really isn't, because other people are doing it for you. You just have to lay it out and draw it out either on Notepad or on a piece of paper, like how many batches you want, who's linking to what, and what's linking to what. But like I said, the rule of thumb, don't slam your YouTube video with tons and tons of videos. You know, if you go with 100 this week, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, do it again, do it again, do it again, and do it on a consistent basis. And as long as you follow that rule of thumb and just don't go all out with tons and tons of views, you should start seeing some results in about a month. You know, you should be indexed within, you know, a couple of days, but especially if you're fighting against other people who are doing the same thing, or possibly they're not, but there's a lot of competition, then, you know, it's not impossible to rank on a keyword. You just have to optimize everything correctly, market it consistently, and then you'll be able to get there. So, but once you're up there, if you keep doing this and especially use the drip feed services, then usually your ranking will hold position.